I took a day off this week and it was amazing. But the next day, my work came flooding at me like an avalanche, and it took days to get back on track, which was so stressful. How do you suggest dealing with taking days off logistically, especially when other people are still working and putting things on your plate, and then emotionally when things go sideways?
So if you leave work and then you come back and you're dealing with a flood of things that are piled up, what you're really experiencing right now is you're experiencing a failure of your systems. That is the key thing that's happening here at the highest level. Your system failed. Now, what system might that be? It might be that people had a bunch of questions that they needed answers. So I'll just use a hypothetical. I had 16 people in my inbox saying, I can't move forward on my project until you answer this question for me or give me this piece of information. That means that there's a system that requires you as the bottleneck for other people to continue to do their job or answer their questions. Let's fix that system. So you've actually been given a gift here. I know it doesn't feel like it, but the gift of going away on vacation and coming back is that everything that broke when you were away on vacation is exactly the system that you need to fix in order to be able to operate more independently and take more vacations stress-free, if you choose to look at it that way. So when we come back from vacation, what should we do? The first thing is, yes, you have to be of two minds at once. On one hand, yes, you need to actually put out some of these fires. But on the other hand, you should have a little legal pad and a paper, or digitally have a legal pad and paper, and you should be sketching the systems that broke. And that should be your champagne moment for the next week or the next month, is to go back and say, great, like Barbara, when I was gone, Barbara had 5 things that she needed from me in order for her to continue forward. And she was absolutely throwing a conniption fit because I wasn't available. Let's work upstream from this and go upstream and figure out, how do we get Barbara the information and the authorization and everything she needs so that she doesn't need me to pass that information on to her before she can move on to the next step. So this is why I like to say every email is a failure. Every meeting is a failure. Everything that requires you to move through is probably a failure of a better system. The best system would be a system that doesn't need you to move forward. And often it just requires you to take the information out of your brain, put it into an SOP or put it into a FAQ page or something where other people can interface with the information that's stuck in your brain. Now, there's a second component here, which is like, how do you deal with it emotionally? I think the best way to deal with it emotionally is use your anger. I have this term that I call F this anger. Have you ever dealt with something at work and you're just like, dude, F this. I'm sick of this. I don't want to live like this anymore. But you feel like when you really inhabit that, do you feel how that's actually, if you don't direct that energy at yourself, if you don't direct it into self-hatred or self-loathing, you can feel that it actually gives you a little bit of energy. Screw this. I don't want to live like this anymore. Let's fix it. So my advice emotionally, get nice and pissed off about it and use that anger to fix the system and actually create a system that works such that you can take a day off and you won't be overwhelmed with a billion things that were overwhelmed. And if you want to take radical ownership, this may piss you off to hear this, but you've been given a gift. The gift of complete radical clarity about what breaks when you leave. And in fact, sometimes when I have people in the boot camp that are too enmeshed in their business, I'll make them take a day off, or I'll even make them take a week off. And they'll say, yeah, but Demir, everything's going to break. And I'm like, precisely. We need to figure out which parts of your business break when you're gone so that we can go directly to those parts and fix them.